Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 28-year-old from Halmstad, Sweden. His hockey journey has taken him to Sweden, the USA, Norway, France, and he is currently running a muck of the British Elite League with the chocolatey Manchester Storm of England, a staple and legend with the Almtuna 18s and 20s, and for fun led the league in goals with 23 in 16 matches. He then became a two-time Swedish Super Elite Junior champion with HV71s. He then dominated in America with the Fairbanks Ice Dogs and earned a ride to RPI. After college, headed for the fjords of Norway and led Gruner in scoring. And it was a minus 41. Stopped briefly in France to let League Magnus know what's up and is now letting the hockey world know just how good he actually is, and is known around the UK as the Swedish sensation, and is the first Swede in my shed. Welcome, Jesper Ohrvall.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for coming, man. I get it now. We know each other. Nice to meet you. I got sent a picture of you with the Kit Kat that said you were a shed guy and that you are the Swedish sensation.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good Kit Kat, so I enjoyed it.
Awesome. And I saw on Twitter there that the kid that gave out those Kit Kats with notes for you fellas looks like a shed guy. So thanks, buddy. Thanks for joining the Shed's marketing team and throwing those Kit Kats with the notes on there. It's pretty cool the next day from Canada to get these pictures and see what's happening over there, you know?
Yeah, I bet.
So is Kit Kat your favorite chocolate bar?
Actually not.
No?
We have a few Swedish ones that has not been on the ice. They haven't been imported, so I was maybe hoping for those. But
what is it?
I don't know.
What is it?
My favorite one is probably actually called the Japp. It's like
Japp?
Yeah, it's like chocolate with caramel and like marshmallow thing in there, and like you leave it in the fridge for a little bit so it's hardened up, and then
kind of like throwing it on the ice. That'll harden it up, right?
Yeah.
So fans, if you heard the Swedish sensation, he likes Japp. So that's spelled Y-O-P.
J-A-P-P.
J-A-P-P.
A-P-P. Yeah.
Okay, folks. Well, you heard him. You can get shit from all over the world nowadays. Won't be a problem.
Yeah, true.
But it is really fun. And I haven't been out to the shed in like 8 days. And the last guy was Zach Herb, the Herminator.
Oh yeah.
And so you guys won that next game, eh? I think you ran a muck, man, or not, of Nottingham, eh? 7-1 or something.
Yeah, it was a good Saturday and a tougher Sunday, of course. But yeah, let's focus on the Saturday for sure.
Yeah. So the Saturday, yeah, you can't get too high, you can't get too low in the pro hockey game, right?
That's true. That's very true.
So yeah, because I was seeing if you guys were getting on a heater there after you guys blew out Nottingham, and the next day there you weren't, it didn't go as well, hey?
No, it was a tough day at work, so
those
skip that one.
those happen, folks. Don't worry about those ones. You know, it's kind of like Roger Federer, right? Like when you see the ball going by, he's not going to give that extra effort. He's sometimes just got to let it go by, save your energy for the next one, right?
True.
So other ways we know each other is this all started the chocolate in Manchester with your captain Critch, eh?
Yep.
So it's happened twice now, is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah. Twice.
And now when we get the yops, right, then shit's gonna get carried away.
Hopefully. I can't wait for those actually.
Seriously, I want to see what this is. So folks,
yeah, you should try it. You should have someone send it to you too.
I'd love to see pictures of yops hitting the ice in Manchester after their next win in the Storm Shelter, right? So other ways we know each other is I've also had on your big bosses, Ginner and Finner, or is it Finner and Ginner?
I guess Finner is up there.
So anyways, yeah, they said you're a shed guy, eh? Just so you know, that's how you get into the shed, is you have to get recommended by other shed guys.
Yeah, I have to get recommended. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, anyways, so it's been a pretty hot start there in the UK for you, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying my time here so far, and both on and off the ice until it got really cold this week. But yeah, it's been a good start here in the UK for me. So yeah.
Yeah. So who is your line mates? Is it confirmed shed guy Ryan Barrow then? Because he's putting up some numbers.
That is confirmed, and also Scott Simmons.
That's who
So
the
we've
other
been
guy was.
playing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
he's
so
the
we've been
centerman
playing.
then. That's Simmons.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's the centerman, and I guess we've been playing most of the games together. Actually, we've tried a few different lines, but we've always been coming back to this one. So,
Mhm.
and yeah, we're happy together. So.
Okay. So here's another way we know each other because I posted about it. Your poster pics. The picture of
Yeah.
you in your hockey stance is what I'd like to call it. Okay.
My what? My
Like your
picture
hockey
and
stance, like when you're
the
standing there,
hockey
you
stat.
know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're on the blue line. Was that
On the
a
blue line.
power play? And were you going to roll to the half wall and play the strong side half wall or no?
Yeah, your story was correct.
Was it? I thought so. The only way I
Yeah, it
was
was.
off is if it was a 5-on-3. Then I would have been way off.
No, yeah,
So is that what
yeah,
you're
that would get
doing
our
then?
goal.
You're playing the half wall on the strong side then?
Yeah,
I
I
did.
do.
I dabbled in that near the end of my career. I actually realized I kind of enjoyed it, right? Because then you can protect the puck with your body, and you take the snappers. You just can't take the full clap bombs to get your tits into them.
That is true. But yeah, I'm usually like a more of a one-timer type of guy. But the last couple of years, I've been like moving over to that side, and yeah, I really like it. Actually, it gives you a lot
It's
of
nice
advantages you
when
don't
you
get on the other
roll
side.
up and then you're heading in, right? Because then you can go
Yeah,
behind the
yeah.
back to the D man, or if they don't come to you, it's a pretty good shot.
It is a really good shot, and usually like the demon come running out, you try to screen his own goalie, so that kind of helps. But
And it does help because they
yeah,
get caught in
yeah,
between. I know. And then if the
yeah,
forward overplays you behind the back to the D, right? I don't know.
yeah.
I haven't played a power play in a while, but I kind of remember what it's about.
You know the stuff.
Well, I saw that picture and you look like a fast little bugger. And you know what I saw in that picture is, I mean, obviously my pod is usually a step below the NHL. It's all us fellas that almost made her, but your stature, your size, you look fast as F. And you look like you could really go laterally, but you don't look that big and thick to be an actual top two liner in the NHL. I think other than that, you got all the skills to pay the bills. That's what I
Yeah,
saw
I
in
mean,
that
I'm just.
picture.
I like what you saw in that picture for sure.
But seriously, I think a person's hockey stance tells you a
Yeah,
lot about how they play hockey.
yeah, it kind of does. I think. I mean, my brother is playing too, and we have a pretty similar stand, and we also play pretty similar. So you're probably right about that one too.
Yeah, he looks like he's a player too. I got some questions about his path too. He may need to come to the
Yeah,
shed too.
yeah. Maybe we should get him on here.
You guys can come on together. Maybe when you guys are both playing for the Storm next year, right?
Who knows?
Just think of
Bring him
employee
in.
retention, Finner and Ginner, if you're listening.
Yeah, yeah. They know.
Maybe he wants to play with his brother in pro hockey. You know, he's running amok. It looks like the brother can run amok. Just think it out loud in the
Yeah,
shed
he
again,
definitely could. He
right?
definitely could.
We'll just get the chocolates imported from Sweden for these fellas, and then they won't want to go anywhere. Right,
Then we're
fans?
good to go. Then we're good to go.
Okay, so anyways, you're playing that side. So then who's plays the others? Who's on your power plays? Is it your forward line and 2D or what?
And it's been a forward line, and lastly, it's been Zach that was on your last episode, and then it's been switching off a little bit with DeLuca or Steven Johnson. It's been
Okay.
switching a little bit. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. You guys got a good looking roster though, eh? But a lot of young fellas, eh?
Yeah, a lot of like first year pros and young guys, but I really like a roster and I really like a group. It's a great group of guys, and I mean, even though it's like a pretty young group and like a lot of new stuff for them, but I mean, I love it. So
Well,
like
I'm gonna
they're
get
great
this
players.
question off my chest now. Then, so why
Yeah.
haven't you played in Sweden in like 7 years?
That is a good question.
Because
I was
Sweden
actually
pays money too, right? What are you doing in the UK? I'm just curious.
no,
Why?
I actually, long story short, when I went to Norway, I just like after my 5 years in the States, there, I wanted to get closer to Sweden, and I was actually thinking about going to Sweden, but then I decided to go to Norway, and then I really liked it there, kept it going, and then for this year, the Nottingham coach I used to go over there, Corey Nielsen, was actually my coach in Norway for a little bit, so he's the guy that talked me into going into this league.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it's a small world, and obviously, it's
It is a
kind of
small
even
world.
smaller world when Finner's wife is from my hometown back home. So
Really?
I met Finner in Sweden this summer. We had a coffee at the place we spent this wedding night. Actually, so it's kind of crazy.
That is crazy, but there's always a reason why people end up places, right? Now it makes sense to me because I've been trying to figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. And here's a cutting edge shed question. Your last name, Ohrvall.
Yeah.
Two dots above the O. What's the difference
Correct.
between with the two dots? What does that do?
Makes it a whole new name. You say Ohrvall instead of Ohrvall, so it's
what? The two
Ohrvall.
dots make it
Ohrvall. It makes it
Ohrvall is
yeah,
how you say your
yeah,
name.
pretty much. It's
So
like makes it the
Ohrvall is
Swedish
without the two
letter.
dots, and then it's
Yeah, and then
Ohrvall.
yeah, it makes it like the one of those three letters you guys don't have. Like we call it and it's basically just over the dots. And
Yeah, because
yeah,
Germany was doing that too. Because fun fact for the shed is Tom Kuhnhackle's like our favorite player because that's why my kids wear number 14, and he's got the double dots over the U.
yeah.
I don't know. Just thought I'd ask that. Anywho, you guys had a good weekend in Belfast not long ago, eh? I saw that poster pic of you slide into the end wall after a goal, eh? That was a cool pic.
I got tripped up there a little bit, and yeah, I just kept riding on it.
Yeah, it's funny when you see the pictures, right? You see the crowd and you're like,
Yeah.
you're celebrating. They're all just sitting there staring at you in disgust.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty funny picture actually.
So then you guys had to fly home that night, not go out in Belfast, I heard.
Yeah, we had to straight home actually. So
Do you guys want me to talk to
yeah.
Finner and Ginner? Do you guys want me to straighten this out for you guys?
maybe you could straighten out to stay in the city before the game next time.
I mean, I think they're just pinching pennies and they didn't want to pay for the hotel for an extra night, but you know.
Nah, that was fine. It was I mean, we were all happy and all in a good mood, obviously.
I'm sure you were.
So
yeah, you guys
were so it was still a fun little travel back, and then we had a couple of days off, so it was nice.
So you hit the Christmas market then, probably?
Actually, I haven't. Like, we live right by the Christmas market, so we walk by it like pretty much every day. But I haven't been actually. I only ate there once.
Is that how you stay so fit, eh? Are you on a strict diet?
I know, the Swedish chocolate.
Lot of snooze in Sweden, eh?
Yeah, it is. I don't though.
You don't snooze, eh?
Yeah,
I thought
no,
like every Swede did.
it's pretty much everyone, I would say, but I actually don't. So yeah, I get that question a lot where you go other places, and especially with the Canadians and the Americans.
They all want it, don't they?
Yeah, they all want it. So
yeah,
they hoping I'm having it, and I'm sadly disappointing them every time.
Okay, so then another poster pick. You're in a gold helmet. I had to wear that shit too. Isn't that stupid?
Yeah, it's tough. Like you get targeted a lot because of that. So it was kind of
so where that was in Norway?
It was in Norway. Like we had the old golden one my first year there, and then like they switched sponsors, so like they got into a black and orange for a little bit, and then black and gold. But they still do it. So
in Germany, they didn't do it when I got there, and then like 2 seasons in, they started making the leading scorer wear the gold helmet, and it's like, it's I don't know. I felt like an idiot skating around in a gold helmet, but then it's also like you watch the other team, and it's like, if you leave the guy with the gold helmet open in front of the net, you're idiots.
Oh yeah. So no, it's tough. I mean, like especially like even you go into like a corner and you see the guy against you too is wearing this golden helmet, like you're gonna go, oh, I'm gonna get this guy.
Oh yeah,
so, like
it does get quite competitive with them.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that. You got hit a lot with that on, so.
Yes, absolutely. I thought it's just silliness, you know?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. So what'd you think of the storm shelter when you rolled into town in Manchester?
I mean, I didn't really expect much, and like the guy said it was like not the best, but I actually kind of like it. I don't mind it at all. Like it's
I like your attitude.
It's our home barn, and then we like I love playing there. So it's like for me, it has not been an issue. It's just been positive. Like yeah, I really like the place.
That's awesome. That's so when I was in Cardiff way back when, we had an arena just like it, and it was awesome, and it was our home.
Yeah, it is. Like I feel like some places, like obviously in this league, you have Belfast, you have Sheffield, you have Nottingham that have really nice rinks, and I mean it's obviously nice to go there.
You can call them nice. I think they're too big.
Yeah, if you don't fill them, but
well, and too much ice. you know?
Oh, way too much ice. I like the smaller ice. Gives you
Yeah.
way better, like way better.
And then like when you're shifty in the corners and you beat a guy, you don't have so far to
Yeah.
get to the net. You get out
No,
and shoot it.
shoot it right away. Shoot it right away.
I knew you would know what I'm talking about.
For sure. For sure.
What else do I got though? So, I got to bring up my stuff though, is I'm having a Christmas raffle. It ends on New Year's Eve, I think, or day or somewhere around there, but
Okay.
we're raffling off a 2 Ales and Hockey Tales jersey and a Mark Lewis signed Cardiff Devils jersey. The money's going to Prostate Cancer UK, as well as my under 9 Concard and Canuck Gals hockey team that I coach. I'm going to get them like shirts made and stuff. And that's what it's for. And that's the tickets are available at aleshockeytales.com, folks. And we've already sold 95 tickets in a day. So way to go, Shed family. Keep it up. You guys are awesome. You know? You know.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen the chocolate.
I know.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
So anywho, I want to ask about your brother then, okay? Because you played with him in RPI.
We did.
Not
we
for
actually
long.
Played no, only for a year, but we actually fun story. We played a Friendship 4 tournament up in Belfast together. So like a few years back, in like I think it was in 2017. I was like up there playing, and then last weekend was like my first time back in Belfast since then.
Really? So that was a college tournament?
Yeah, it was a college tournament. It was like I think it's like 2 teams from New York and 2 from Boston usually each year. I might change, but it's like 4 teams every year that go up there and like try to make.
Did you go out in Belfast back then?
No, we actually didn't. We played like the weekend, but we did like all the tourist stuff, like the Titanic Museum and I really like the Belfast Christmas market, to be honest.
Well,
and then we
Belfast
did the
seems like a great
Torch,
city. Yeah,
it is a great city. So it was pretty cool. We was there for like over a full week, I think. So it was actually nice.
That is awesome. And so you were there. That was 2017. You were still in university. Gosh darn it, I'm old.
I'm starting to feel old too, to be honest.
Oh, that makes me want to puke. And your brother's like 4 years younger than you?
Yeah, he is.
And he went to university with you then for a year.
Yeah, so it was kind of one of the reasons, actually the main reason we went to RPI. They promised me like to bring him in as a true freshman. It was always been a dream to play with him. So we both committed at the same time. So,
Finner, did you hear that? Yeah, no, that's cool. So did you ever play on the same line?
We did, but we only got like 1 game together, and we actually scored. He passed me. So
really, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool actually.
So you're a lefty. Do you play your off wing or do you play left?
I do play left now. I actually, the years before, I do prefer right though. Like I could
tell from your picture. I could tell from your picture.
But yeah, this year it's been all left. So I can't complain about that either.
But it seems like it's going all right over there.
Guess it's okay.
But your brother when the research team was hot, he's had an interesting path too. He went to Shattuck St. Mary's. He also played for 3 different universities.
Yeah.
See, when I went to university, if you switched, you had to sit out a whole year. So nobody switched, no matter how mean the coaches were. Nobody would switch because you'd have to sit out a year. Some guys would, and they just sit there all year and just get bag skated for a year. So now you're allowed to just switch schools, eh?
There are some loopholes. Like for me too, I switched and went to Alabama. So like if you finish your degree, you didn't need to sit out a year. So for me, that's how I did it. And for my brother, he went.
You finished your degree in 3 years?
Yeah, so I got my bachelor in 3 years, and I got my master's at Alabama.
What'd you get your master's in?
I got a master of business administration.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Like yours truly. Pound.
Oh yeah.
Cardiff Matt, shout out to you guys. Way to go.
Yeah, they asked me if I wanted to get my master's done when I came here. I said I already got it. So
yeah, you do. Well, that's cool. So you basically got like 2 scholarships.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't even know you could do that. So at Western Michigan, they'd only pay for 4 classes a semester, so we'd get like extra scholarships. So there was no way I could like finish early without paying.
I took 28 credits my last semester at RPI.
You're an animal, huh?
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to get it done. So
I hear you there. Yeah,
you got to do what you got to do. And then my brother was like,
more fun.
my brother could actually still play junior, so he went back to Waterloo And like the year he was actually like technically sitting out, he needed to like take classes at the community college and played back in Waterloo in the USHL.
But then he actually went to the University of Michigan, where that's just the highly touted kids go to, eh?
I guess so.
A bunch of punks go there in my hats. I used
Say
to
that
go
to
play
Lavi.
against them with
Say that to
Western
Lavi.
Michigan. Oh, Western
Yeah.
Michigan, we'd go there and when I was there, man, we'd hear that gosh darn fight song over and over. Every time they scored, it was so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh,
I bet.
yeah.
I bet.
So then he left there though for Sacred Heart. So that's more of
Yeah.
like a hockey decision, one more ice time probably.
So obviously he had a good year in Waterloo, and then he could actually pretty much pick and choose and pick to go to Michigan. And the guy that brought him in left.
Oh.
The assistant coach that was there signed as an assistant coach in the NHL. So
then it's
it
a whole
wasn't
new
really
crew, yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't really what he's expected at Michigan, and decided to like go somewhere else. And then he had a tough year at Secret Heart. He was the last guy to get COVID, so he was in quarantine for like 4 months out of the year. So he was pretty much in quarantine the whole year. So they had to get it up.
Like that. I can always ask him about his path when he comes
Yeah.
to my shed, right? But looks
for
like
sure.
he's a player because he's got a pointed game in the Swedish second league, eh? And that's tough to score in that league.
He's in the third league now. He went down.
Is that called the Etten
League?
League?
Yeah, Etten League. Yeah.
Oh, that's
so he was
okay.
in
So that's
Karlskoga last year.
Second one, yeah.
It's second league, yeah. So he was in Allsvenskan with Karlskoga last year, and then decided to go down the league this year. Obviously, he hadn't played much the last 2 years, so he wanted to get some more ice time, some more touches, and get back into scoring. I guess that works.
Well, he is. And Etten, I've heard of. I think it was Snooze called that. What does Etten mean?
It means number one.
It means number one.
Yeah. But it's also like a brand of chew. So you're absolutely right about that one.
Yeah, I've seen that one around the locker rooms in my past.
Yeah, you have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So growing up in Halmstad, Sweden, is that where you're from?
Yeah, so but one there is on the west coast, not much of hockey though. So when I was 6, we moved to Växjö. It's more of a hockey town. But I actually started.
Växjö?
Yeah, Växjö.
Växjö?
Yeah. So it's way more of a hockey town. But I actually started playing when I was in Halmstad already. So yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I've had a few Växjö players on before, you know.
Yeah.
I think Dan Bellissimo was the goalie there, perhaps, maybe.
Maybe
I made that up.
Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe.
Anyway, so you moved there at 6 years old. So everybody in Sweden gets into hockey or what?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys do actually. Like when we started, I think the first practices there in Växjö when I was 6, we were probably like 120 kids on the ice, and then it like drops off pretty quick. But it's like it's big when we start off.
So how big is that town?
Maybe like around 100,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're getting 120 kids out. Most of the boys are playing, eh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sweden does Christmas markets too, then, eh?
A little bit, not as much as here though, but they do like put some stands up, but it's not as big as the UK. Like I actually never been. Norway also had a really nice Christmas market downtown too.
Germany, I dominated those things for years.
I bet.
Ran amok. They had things that I'd never even heard of. They had like, what were they called? It was like a flatbread, but it would have potatoes and bacon and onion on it. Oh my word!
Oh really?
Yeah, you're making me hungry. Gosh. Yeah, they basically had anything you wanted to eat or drink at the Christmas markets, and you do it outside, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, a little bit more outdoorsy over there, but then here. Okay, so anywho, so you grew up in Växjö. That's why I was wondering how you ended up there, but you were there for 2 years and you're playing for the under 18s and under 20s or whatever, but then you switched to Almtuna.
Correct.
Where's that? Is that far away? Are you moving away from home?
Yeah, I did. It's like probably 6 hours away from home. It's like just north of Stockholm, like an hour.
If that was a hockey town where you were, why were you leaving?
I actually started to go into hockey camps when I was a kid at Sweden Hockey Institute, and the owner of that camp, he was also gonna take charge and being the coach up there. So that's how I ended up there actually. So he was in charge of like
that.
14, turning 15. It was just to start high school. So we went to like the hockey high school pretty much. So we had
So
high
how
school
much are you
practices
on
in
the
the morning.
ice a day?
3 or 4 times a week in the morning with the school, and then every afternoon with the team. So yeah, it's a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
3 to 4 before school and every day after school.
Yeah.
Do you ever were you ever get sick of it or no?
I mean, like in Sweden, we don't skate as much in the summer. For me back home, it's not very common to skate in the summer, so we have those couple
Amen,
of months
brother.
off in the summer.
Amen, brother.
Amen. So
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah. So it's like I feel like during the year we don't really get tired of skating, but then like obviously we have the summers off that a lot of like the
And you
Americans
take it off
don't
and then you get
take.
reset for the next season. I get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally get that. Okay. So that's a lot of hockey though for the season.
Yeah, it is a lot of hockey.
So who are the coaches? So like that guy, like his job is then to coach those kids in that at the high school.
Yeah, so he was like applied. He was like hired by the high school to take charge of like all the like morning practice pretty much. And he was like he's been a skill coach for the brothers Sedins. So and someone like he's working with the backline of the Flames and stuff. So like he knows what he's doing, and like that was the reason I wanted to go up there.
That makes sense.
I think it was more guys. Yeah, I think it was more guys than me that ended up there because of him. So we did well in the under 18, and then they didn't have the under 20 in the top league. So when it was time to go to under 20s, we all like kind of went out of there.
Oh, so that's why you left again. Okay.
Yeah.
But you did lead the like under 18s in goals, eh? And there's players in Sweden, so you must have been really doing her there, eh?
Yeah, I had a good year, and yeah, got the puck into the net for sure.
So then the under 18s, it doesn't matter how good you are, the under 20s aren't in the top league. So that's why you go to HV71s. Where's that?
In Jönköping. It's like way closer to home, pretty much just an hour and a half away from the parents. So it's kind of nice too, moving a little bit closer to home. And obviously that's a hockey city if you've ever seen one. They love hockey there. They eat, breathe, and like sleep hockey. So it was a fun place to play, to be honest.
That's cool. So what do you do for fun in Sweden when you play hockey like 4 hours a day? Other than hockey, what did you do for fun growing up?
I played a lot of soccer and even like tennis and stuff. Like I was it's always been a sport family. My mom actually played for the national team, women's national team way back, even soccer. So she was pretty bummed when we decided to go for hockey. But
they say genetics are a thing and athletes are athletes, you know?
I guess so. So no, I actually saw a lot of soccer growing up and tennis and like now lately, I don't know if you heard about this. Like, you know what paddle is?
Paddle?
No, you Canadians have never heard of this.
What is it?
So it's pretty much you play like it's like tennis. You play 2-on-2 like doubles pretty much, and then it's like in the glass cage kind of, so you can go bank it off the walls. It's a combination between maybe tennis and squash, I would say. But you play like 2-on-2.
You have to hit it over a net, don't you?
Yeah, you play it like you have a net.
But you can hit it off the back wall or something?
Yeah, so like if it bounces, like it can hit off the glass and it's still live, and you can hit it off the glass to go over. So it's like, and you can even run outside this cage. It's pretty sick, actually.
So it's like squash and tennis mixed together.
You know what's funny? You have to YouTube this shit. You have to YouTube this.
Well, before I got in the shed, I didn't know shit about shit, and I've heard about that because I've been in the shed. Someone told me about that sport in the shed. I just can't remember who.
Yeah, that's good though.
By the way, you are my first Swede in the shed. Did you know that? It's pretty exciting.
No, I actually didn't know that. That's pretty cool, actually. So no, I had no idea.
Yeah, no, pretty exciting. I actually didn't really play with many Swedes, but I think one of the best players I ever saw on my team was a Swede, Joachim Lindstrom.
Yeah.
He's a player. Played for Skellefteå or whatever it's called for years.
Skellefteå, yeah.
What? What's it called?
Skellefteå.
Skellefteå.
Skellefteå, yeah, that was pretty good.
Well, I think he's done pretty well over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be old now.
Like us. Like
I should get him to the shed. Anywho, so then you go to that hockey town. What's it called?
Jönköping.
Jönköping.
You guys would say Jönköping because it's like it has the letters that is in my last name.
Because we're pronouncing the letters the way we do, right? Not the way you
Yeah.
do. But you guys win gold medals both years, eh?
Yeah, we do. We're actually we just went back to back there, which was pretty cool. I mean, we had a really good team, to be honest. So I can like we had a couple of NHLs. We had
I got
William
him written
Carlson.
down. William
Yeah,
Carlson played just 2 games in the playoffs. Is that right?
yeah, and playoff MVP. So that's how good he was.
It looked like he didn't play the regular season. He just rolled into town for the playoffs and won playoff MVP.
Yeah, it was so he was with the pro team for pretty much the whole season, and then the pro team lost in the first round of the
So then he
playoffs.
came
So
down to play for you
so
guys.
then he came down to play. But he was like only down for I think it's the semifinal and the final one. I think pretty sure.
Well, here's a question then. So every minor hockey system is different, and quite frankly, if you ask me how Canada's doing, they got some shit really backwards around here in minor hockey.
Okay.
But I'm not going to get into that. I'm curious about Sweden. So you get into it, you're basically like an organization, though, it looks like, right? So however good you are, you would play with all of those teams all the way up to whether you can crack the lineup, right? So if you're 16 years old and you're good enough to play for the under 20 team, you're going to play games for the under 16s, 18s, and 20s, right? And you're like an organization.
Yeah. So the teams are like kind of connected. It's like in this under the same organization. So like yeah, as young as you can be, but even as old as you can be. When I was in juniors there a few times, there was some injuries and stuff on the pro team. So they like when time guys needed to play, they would like be sent down, even if they like were older a few times.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's everything under the same organization.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's different everywhere. Like here, we got to stay in our age group so you can get called up, but like you're not going to be on both teams for the whole year, right? So you're going to be pretty busy if you were on like the 18s and 20s. You're probably doing both practices and games, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it was like I think for me that my year before high school, I think I was on both under 20 and under 18 there. I think it was pretty much like 3 or 4 games a week. So it wasn't like that much of practice, but yeah. It was a lot of games.
Well, games are more fun than practice.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Okay, well, that's interesting. And so you did play some pro your last year at junior, though, with Neatorps.
Yeah, yeah. It was like I think it was almost like half of our team that went out there. They had around Christmas time. They all got the stomach virus. They barely had a team, so we were off in the junior league. We had a little bit of a break, so we went out there. I think it was probably like 8 of us, to be honest.
I remember the year I went to Denmark or Cardiff. I was talking with a second league Swedish team. I can't remember who it was now. Gosh darn it. Anywho, I never did go, never even been to Sweden, you know? I was in Denmark. I got to Copenhagen and it's right there. And I never went across the bridge. Like, what am I doing?
That's crazy.
I know, it's crazy.
Such a short train ride too, so.
Horse manure. Be better, Walton, you know? Gosh. It's dark there a lot though, eh? I guess it depends where you're living though in the country or what.
Yeah, up north it gets dark. It's like was on the same like latitude as Alaska, I think. So but down south it's not as bad, but still dark.
Here's the question then. When you're winning gold medals in the junior there, so is it real playoffs or is it like a tournament?
So it's kind of like in England, you play best out of 3 for the first 2 rounds, and then the semifinal and final is only like 1 weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, you guys won it. The other player I saw on your roster one of those years was Kevin Fiala. He's doing all right too, eh?
Yeah, he's doing all right too. Yeah. And even Lawrence Pilot there is on Buffalo now.
See, I haven't been paying much attention to the NHL, so he's in the show, that guy too?
Yeah, he played a few, like he was in the show and I went to the K and then he came back to Buffalo this year. Played a few games, it's been up and down a little bit, so.
So you had a pretty good junior team, eh?
Yeah, we're actually stacked, but I feel like at the point when I was there, it was not you didn't bring all the guys up to the pro team like it is now. Like usually they bring them up younger now, while as when I was in juniors, they're like, we were still all the guys were still playing juniors and then like the pro games too. While now they will only be on the pro team pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. Everything seems younger in hockey nowadays, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So here's a cutting edge shed question. What are the biggest differences between Swedish coaches and say Ginner?
Uh, I feel like the Swedish coaching style is more community, like you communicate more, like you have more of a like dialogue than the North American ones. But I would actually say like Ginner is more towards the Swedish coaching style, like
He
than
has
more
more
that
open
than I,
communication. Yeah.
yeah, than
There are
I have
coaches I'd
had with
hardly
other.
talk to for a whole season. Like at
Yeah,
all.
and like I mean, in Sweden, like we had a lot of like personal meetings, and everything was communication, and it was like open everything. While like sometimes in the States, like it was like different. It was more like a different type of leadership. But I would also like if you compare to Ginner, I would say like he's very open.
He's
Like
yeah.
I communicate with Ginner a lot, and he's like talking a lot to the players. So I feel like that's more kind of the Swedish style.
Well, that's kind of how I this whole thing with your team started was I took a shine to first Finner and then Ginner. And
Yeah,
he seems like a coach I'd want to play for, do well for. And then Finner
yeah,
was always
definitely.
great at recruiting shed guys. So, I think you guys I don't know. That's how it all started. But I think, yeah, Ginner would be a great guy to play for. And he seems like you're right. He'd be level headed, easy to talk to, and you'd know
Yeah,
where you stand with the guy, right?
definitely, definitely.
Okay. So, anywho, you finished junior in Sweden, and then you're like, screw this place. I'm out of here. I'm not playing hockey here no more. And you head to the Fairbanks Ice Dogs to Alaska then, eh? I saw they
Yeah.
drafted you. So how did they know you were interested in going there?
So I wanted to go to the States before I finished high school, but my parents wouldn't let me.
So
So they,
where did that come from? Because you wanted to make the NHL or what?
I just felt like it was like so it was different over there. It was just like bigger. Like even like say when we won the championship in Sweden, like we would go to the final and it would be like 1,500 at our final, and like the teams would
Yeah.
be stacked with like William
NHL caliber
Nylander's
players.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and it's 1,500 in the crowd. So like obviously as a kid growing up in Sweden, you watch the videos of like the juniors over there and like yeah other places. I felt like I wanted to go over there, and then also my parents has always been very like how important school has been. So that's why they made me finish high school, and then I decided like before I went over, I was like try to go to college route.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. So you knew you wanted to try to get to NCAA then?
Yeah.
So I don't know how it works in Sweden, but I remember going to Denmark and they said going to university was free. You could just go to university and it was free. That's not true in
Uh,
Sweden, right?
it is, or like you have the university like all the tuition and stuff paid for, and then you can take like student loans to cover your like living.
Living. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, yeah, you got to pay for everything in North America.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you do go over to Alaska then. So, how's that adjustment since you really have never been to North America at that time?
No, I went to like a camp in Minneapolis, and that was the first time I was in North America. Pretty much, it was me and a couple other Swedes that went there.
You went for like a hockey camp, like as kids, or what?
Yeah, it was like Fairbanks have their like a summer camp for like before they like I don't even know. It was like kind of like a tryout camp, but not like yeah I don't know.
In Fairbanks.
No, in Minneapolis. So
Okay.
that's where we were for like the summer, like for one, maybe not even a week, maybe 5 days, and then me and one of my Swedish buddies that I played with in HV71 took off and went up there. So
Okay, so they would have maybe seen you at that camp and then draft you type thing, maybe.
I'm pretty sure they drafted me before the camp. I think I'm not sure about the
I'm
dates
just
there,
curious
but yeah.
how you were on their radar when you're over in Sweden,
Yeah, my agent had a guy that played there, a Swedish guy that was there a year before. So he like knew it was a good spot, and like I talked to like a few other teams in the league, and a couple of USHL teams too. But then he really loved this place, the guy that played the year before. So I decided to go.
So I've been to Fairbanks. Did you play in the same
Yeah,
arena as like the University of Fairbanks?
no, we don't.
Mm.
We play at a smaller arena. That I actually like. I love that rink. It's kind of like it gets rocking. It's pretty much like probably you see 2,500, but a lot of the games they push like 3,000 in there, so it's pretty fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
So, you liked living in Alaska then?
I mean, 1 year was enough,
Yeah.
that's for sure. But it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't bad. I was also injured for a while, so I was back in Sweden for a couple of months there. Came back in January
Well, it looked
and
like you
finished
ran a
off the
muck
season.
while you were there. So how much English you guys learning in school? Like, how's your English when you're moving over to Alaska?
Not great.
No.
It is like a lot. We do take English a lot, like pretty early in school. But I passed my last test in high school to pass the course. So my English wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that. But yeah,
But
it was
then you're
like
moving to North America to get a scholarship to go to an English school.
yeah. So
You like to challenge yourself, do you?
yeah, for sure. But I just feel like it was so much easier when you came over there and like started actually speaking it and like living in the situation while like pairing it, like learning it in like a school
In a
situation.
class for an hour and then
Oh
you just
yeah,
leave and go
yeah. There
back to
was like
speaking Swedish. Yeah, you're not good.
yeah, that was not my way to do it. So like coming over was like for me for sure the way to like adapting to the language and everything.
So then you do run amok though. So you start getting recruited. So what other schools are sniffing around other than RPI? And why do you end up in
Uh,
RPI? Big question.
yeah, that is a big question. So now I think I was talking to probably 14 or 15 schools. I took visit to Denver, Ohio State, Mankato, and RPI. And then I decided to go to RPI because
You went to Denver and didn't go? I've heard good
that's
things about that place. That's all.
that's what everyone says. So I didn't know anything about like college, to be honest. Like before,
Mhm.
pretty much like the only team I talked to before I left Sweden was Bemidji State.
Yeah.
And then like everything like happened pretty quick, and I just got I got a really good feeling with the coach at RPI at the time, like Seth Abbott guy. And then also like RPI promised, as I said before, to bring in my brother as a true. Compared to like Denver, they didn't know if like he was gonna come in only for 1 year or like they could promise 2 years.
And it was
So
important to
yeah,
play with your brother.
yeah, it was like
Finna-
that was a dream. So I was like really valued in my decision, and then
That's cool though.
yeah, then
Yeah. That two Swedes to play on the same NCAA team. That is really cool. Um,
yeah,
okay. So RPI, where is that? Is that New York?
yeah, upstate New York, like Troy, it's like right next to like the Capitol Avenue there. So
Yeah. So, and that like, so they're probably playing like Clarkson and St. Lawrence and those schools.
yeah, all the like pretty much Ivy League schools and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So then what'd you take in university when you go to RPI and graduate in 3 years business management?
Yeah, so I took a business management with like a minor in psychology.
Mm.
Most of the
Basically,
guys
we
with a
got the
business.
same paperwork right now, other than the minor.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Anywho, okay. So, how is your team in RPI then? It looked like your freshman year, you had a very successful year. 13 points as a freshie is pretty darn good in NCAA.
Yeah, yeah. It was we did really well my first year too as a team. So I did enjoy like my freshman year. Like it was obviously a lot of new stuff, and like for me to adapting to the school and everything.
How big of a
Uh,
school is it? How many, do you know? Like how many kids?
maybe like 6,000-7,000.
Mm.
So not that big, I don't think. But it's like all obviously like it's an engineering school. It's called RPI engineers. So
Oh,
it's like a lot of smart kids. And it also like it kind of was our like business program was kind of weird too. We like needed to take a lot of science classes and like computer programming classes, like even in our business program.
huh.
So yeah, it was a little different coming to a standard like business schedule.
Yeah. And then, what were your practices like in university? I'm just curious because when I went to university, we would beat the crap out of each other. Like we would practice harder than the games would be. Like it was nuts. Was it like that for you?
Yeah, yeah, it was. It was like to me, it was kind of new, like practicing in Sweden and stuff. Like there's not as like obviously in Sweden there's not much fighting in Scandinavian hockey and stuff. Like it was so different. And then like you come to North America and it was like practice scraps and like shit going on. And
Yeah.
even one time my freshman year I got hit. Like I got kneed in practice,
Mhm.
and like the coach like pretty much called me in. It's like, hey, if you don't like stand up for yourself in practice and like do something, like
Yeah.
you need to figure it out pretty much. So that was like a shocker for me.
I
Uh,
remember my freshman year. It was like the first month, and I'm like just getting on this team and trying to fit in. And one of the seniors that's like bubble in or out of the lineup, like we're doing a drill. It was a 1-on-1 and I was about to beat him or something. And he literally grabbed me and slew footed me like as hard as you could slew foot a guy. And like it was like something you do if you're trying to hurt a guy. And I got up and fought this guy, and he was like 6'4", and he was my teammate, and he could have beat the shit out of me if he wanted to. But then after that day, I guess he didn't slew foot me again. But man, it just made no sense to go fight a guy way bigger than me that's on my own team. And why would he slew foot me? None of it made sense.
No, it doesn't.
No, still doesn't. What about the workouts? Because at Western Michigan University, man, we would have to run football stadium stairs over and over. We'd be carrying guys on our backs. Did you guys have crazy workouts?
We did have some, like we had a lot of like tough workouts we did actually, and we had something called like golden nuggets. That was like something that was like a competition at the end of each workout pretty much.
And it'd be really hard.
Yeah, and then when we had a new coach coming in, he really loved the conditioning tests. So I think we had like 3 or 4 off-ice conditioning tests, 1 shuttle test on the ice, and even like the running test, he would like put in like at 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning just to fuck with us pretty much.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, college is different, but how people are switching schools and stuff now is totally different than when I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm just being honest. I think there's a couple guys that were in my class that like we had a great time away from the rink, but their hockey lives, they really weren't happy with how things were, but they couldn't switch or else you have to sit out here. But
yeah, I think now we can go into the portal and everything, but for me too, it was a shocking. I had no idea until like there was a guy in the class before me. He did the same thing. He's finishing school, taking a lot of classes, and then got out of there. So that's like how I found out.
Right.
It's like coming. Yeah, I had no idea before that.
So did they switch coaches after your freshman year? When did
my sophomore year?
Mm-hmm. And then your brother goes back to junior. You finish school and head to Alabama, Huntsville, eh?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any pro options or anything, or you knew you wanted to get your master's?
I kind of knew I wanted to get my master's. I knew like I obviously I had a pretty easy time in school, to be honest. So when I decided to leave,
but you hardly knew English like a year before.
Couple of years before.
There's guys that grow up speaking English that have a hard time with university.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've been lucky at growing up. My grandma and my aunt was teachers, so I guess they like taught me good from an early age how to like do the schooling system, I guess.
How to learn stuff.
Yeah.
They say genetics are a thing, folks. Maybe you guys are just smart.
I guess.
So why Alabama, Huntsville?
No, I had a few different options there, but I only had 1 year to play, right? So for me, it was very important to like get to a place where I could get my master's done in 1 year, and also
get a chance to play.
Yeah, and I also like obviously growing up and like having schooling free in Sweden, you said like I didn't want to pay for school. So
right.
Yeah.
That'd be a bit backwards if you went to the States and then paid for school when you could have just got it for free at home.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how's Alabama, Huntsville? They almost go tits up just recently?
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's like I was kind of shocked to hear it, but like I guess for me, I liked it. It was like they had a great place that they could do something great. Like the weather is unreal down there.
I was gonna say it'd be good weather, right?
The rink is really nice. Like all the like facilities and everything is really nice. So I feel it's like I don't know. It's hard to maybe bring hockey to Alabama sometime, but they have there could be something really good going on there.
They have everything you need. It's like when I went to Western Michigan, I'm like, this place has everything you need to be a powerhouse in NCAA. It had the facilities, it had the culture, the school's fun. They have football, basketball, like they have everything you'd want. And now they finally are that school. It's cool, you know. But so okay, then you finish school and you do head to Norway, eh? So did you look into North American Pro at all, or why Norway?
No, I kind of wanted to get closer to back home. Yeah. And you asked before, I had like some pro options before I decided to go to Alabama, but obviously I wanted to do school. But then I actually decided to go to Norway and see how it was gonna go. So I went there for the first week without signing, and I just wanted to like feel it out first, and then they put me like I ended up right downtown Oslo. Right, it's a beautiful city. Everything like they took good care of me in the first week there, and I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. So I decided to stay.
Other question though, you said school was easy for you. What about getting your master's in 1 year and applying college?
Yeah, so I walked into the lady that I was gonna schedule classes with, and I told her I wanted to take 5 graduate classes each semester and 1 in the summer to get my master's done, and she laughed me in my face and said, "No one done that before." I just said, "Sign up for my classes."
I'm just letting you know what I'm doing. Just let me do it.
Yeah. So I was just committed to like getting it done as much work as it would take, and so I took 5 and 5, and then I had 1 online class there in the summer to get it done.
Wow, that's impressive stuff. I also got it done in 1 year in Cardiff, folks. If any players are looking to get masters, Cardiff's got a 1 year program.
Perfect.
But anyway, so Gruner, the team in Norway, that is in Oslo, where the Olympics
Yeah.
were, I think, once, right?
Yeah, it was. They have the pillar at the rink still. It was an outdoor Olympics at the place, but it was actually at the exact same spot that they had their rink.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So this, didn't look like your team was very good that year.
It was the first. It was the first year in the league for them. They just like. They
So
just went
everybody
up from
knew
the
you were
second
going to
league.
lose. That can make it better over there, right? Because in Europe, when I don't know, when a team's been good before and then you start losing, like in Bietigheim when I was there, man, it was tough days when we would lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we knew it was not going to be easy. Obviously, we like expected like to win, but we also like I feel like we stuck a little bit just to like manage the game. Like we beat pretty much all the top teams, and then we lost to the teams that were around us. So yeah, so it was kind of backwards a little bit. But
I was just
yeah,
looking at the plus minuses on the team.
yeah, we let in a lot of goals. That's for sure. We struggle like to keep it tight back there, and also, I mean, we also got kind of sewered. We pulled the goalie a lot of times in games, and you got a couple dashes off that too. So I mean,
they were probably trying you're down by
yeah,
a
it doesn't
couple,
help
let's
the
pull the
stats.
goalie with 6 minutes left, and then everybody's getting
Yeah,
dashes.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I was like, it didn't help out that statistics for sure.
So here's a random question, food wise. You're from
Yeah.
Sweden. If you're gonna have your favorite Swedish dish, what is it?
I mean, obviously the Swedish meatballs are like delicious, especially when grandma makes them.
Yeah, they're probably gonna taste different than the
But
IKEA ones.
oh yeah, they taste different. IKEA is still good though. Like I still go to IKEA all the places I go. I feel like that's a Swedish thing. All the guys I play with too would go there and eat meatballs. Feels like home a little bit.
That's good. So those actually do taste like the Swedish meatballs from home then, eh? That's cool.
A little bit. It's not as the homemade one, but it's like
you know
still
what's
good.
weird for me though, when I was in Germany, there'd be days where you want to eat something that would remind you of home. Realistically, the only place was McDonald's. So, right?
Really?
Because that is the only restaurant that would be in Germany that we'd have over there. There might be a Burger King or something, but you go have a Big Mac and fries, you're right back home.
Yeah, true. But I actually, it shocked me when I came to IKEA here. They asked me if I wanted fries with my meatball, and I was like, "Holy!" Like they don't know what they're doing over here.
No, you guys are just eating the meatballs,
No.
right?
Yeah, we eat the meatballs, and like we usually do it with. We can do mash, but we usually do boiled potatoes. We boil them and have like what we call the brown sauce and the lingonberries.
Are you peeling the potatoes? Skinless?
It depends. Like in the winter season, no peels. In the summer season, we have like kind of summer potatoes, so you can have a peel on that we keep them on for.
See, folks, we're learning shit in the shed again today.
Oh yeah.
Brown sauce is great though. Love brown sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, and lingonberries, need them.
Lingonberries?
Yeah.
Lingonberries.
Yeah, that's need to go with the brown sauce and the meatballs.
A berry?
Yeah, it's a berry you pick in the woods, and then it's not a jam. It's not a sweet, it's just jam, but it's like you kind of make it like into a mush with the berries in there, and you have it with your.
Is that right?
They serve it at they serve it at IKEA too, but like their kind of version of it is not as much berry. It's more the jammy kind of stuff, but it's still good.
That sounds good. I get even hungry now. So living in Oslo is good though, in Norway?
Oh yeah, so that's kind of why I decided to also like stay in that area. I switched to one of the other Oslo teams after my first year there.
That's Mangelrud.
Correct.
Okay. Were things really expensive in Norway?
Yeah, it is.
I heard that. But you
Yeah,
did well. And you were in Mangelrud there for a full year. And then the
yeah.
next year you switch. But anyways, where's your coach from? Is he Norwegian then?
So at the time we had like a North American guy, Dave, and then like during my first year he got fired. And when a Norwegian guy took over just to finish off the season, and then we had the Corey coming in for my second year there in the beginning, and then he also left because of personal reasons, and then we had a Norwegian guy coming in, so it was like kind of back and forth a lot there.
Yeah, that's so 4 coaches in 2 years.
Yeah, and it was pretty much every guy had their way of how they wanted us to play. So it was a lot of a lot of adjustments there.
It's hard though when you switch systems and what you're doing. I find when I do that, I'm not just out there playing. I'm always thinking about what I should be doing instead of it being natural, you know?
Yeah.
Once it's natural, once that you know where you got to go and what you got to do, then you just do it and you can just play, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So anywho, the second year then with Corey, it looked like you had a hot start there. I think if my notes are right, you had about a point a game or whatever, but then you do go to France then, eh?
Yeah, I had a little bit of injuries going on during the season, and I kind of felt like I got some other options in Europe like during the year, but it was like I didn't feel ready to go somewhere else. I wanted to stay, and then injuries kind of just brought it on that I felt like I needed a new place. And yeah, and then
so to get all these deals done, you're basically relying on your agent to do this stuff then, or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if he wants to have a talk with me about how we're gonna get you and your brother to Manchester next year, I work for free in the shed here. But I could talk to Finner and Gunner for you guys.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But that team, the year Corey's there, I guess at the start, and then the other guy comes in. It looked like 33 skaters were on the roster, not even including goalies. That's quite a few in a European team.
It is. We had we had a lot of different guys come and go, but we also had a lot of injuries during the year, myself included, obviously. So we had a lot of junior guys come up and play. So that's why it added up to a lot of players on the roster.
So then you end up in France. How's that? You're with Amiens?
Yeah, Amiens.
Amiens.
The French way, the French way to say it, I guess. That's all I learned. That and merci, pretty much.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, but I know it was fun. It was a good experience. I came down there, didn't really know what to expect, and they took really good care of me and Amiens, to be honest. And it was
so I find every league plays hockey differently, right? I think Scandinavian leagues, I think Finland plays different than Sweden, but
sure.
I think Denmark plays different than the UK league. So what'd you find the biggest difference from then going from Norway to France?
I feel like it was way more European, like more like in Norway, it was still like half of the league was like small rinks, and it was like a lot of like Canadian and Americans, while in France there was not as much Americans, and it was like every rink was big, and it was not as structured. It was more it was puck was bouncing a lot. It was like a lot of weird bounces, and like you needed to adjust to. So I guess I had a buddy down there too. He was a goalie for one of the other teams. He said it was tough because he was just like bouncing a lot. It was hard to like as a goalie to adjust, but it was less physical too.
France or Norway?
Yeah, France. So especially compared to here, I feel
the
like
UK league is very
North
like America.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's very close to North American. I wouldn't say that France is close to North American.
Right. But you guys went to the playoffs. It looks like you did well. You had over a point a game, and then you play 6 playoff games. Was that like a best of 7, or how does it work there?
Yeah, there was best of 7 against Sergi there. So yeah, we fell short. I think we actually deserved better in that series, but it was tough. We lost a few by 1 goal, and like I felt they got all the bounces. We kept shooting, and then the
best of 7s are fun though, aren't they?
Oh, it's so much fun. So much fun.
And with you being an NCAA, and then like you don't get to play best of 7s and that stuff, right? It's always like a weekend against a team.
Yeah, we in the ECAC was like best out of 3. Yeah, so every week and we played 3-3 pretty much to make it through the first and second round.
Yeah, even a best of 3 is good, but like in the UK where they do like the home and home like aggregate score or whatever, that shit's weird.
I never heard of that before, and actually, to be honest, like when I signed there, I didn't even know that was case.
Yeah.
They told me when I got here.
Yeah,
So
no, I know. When I got there were games where Challenge Cup and League were it was like a double dipper. It counted for both. So if you lost one of those, man,
oh
they'd
really?
get pissed off.
Wow,
Oh yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
good
if
thing
you
they don't
win
have
that,
those anymore.
you got points in both. It was it was
Yeah.
serious shit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Actually, I had no idea you worked like that before.
Yeah. So okay. How was French food?
It was pretty good actually. They had like up north in France, they had it was kind of a crepe where you put
Ooh.
ham and mushrooms and stuff in it, and you put it in a little thing that they baked with some kind of sauce and cheese up top. That was like an appetizer, and it was
Really?
just delicious,
That's
delicious. It was like
you lost me with the mushrooms, but you had me with the crepes.
I'm not a big mushroom guy, and I will tell you it was delicious. So
You can do some wild shit inside a crepe, can't you?
yeah, you can. Like I guess you can put pretty much anything in there. You can go from dessert to like a full meal and appetizer. It's weird.
You really can. You can have the main course, you can have a dessert, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I haven't ate enough crepes lately, I guess. Anyways, so then you finish in France. Did you think about staying there at all? Or then how do you end up? I guess you talked to Corey, and that's what made you think of the UK.
Yeah, I did talk to a little like if you I did talk to Amiens about staying. I did talk to another few teams about in France. But then yeah, I heard Corey talk me into this league like during the year, pretty much in Norway, and then I talked to Manchester and Finner, and I got a really good gut feeling, so that's what I decided to go with.
Well, that's cool. So I guess it's a weird league though, right? So now that there's the league, you guys are what? I heard like middle of the pack-ish, fifth, sixth-ish?
Yeah. We were 6th before Sunday. I think we bumped down to 7th now, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, it's now you're like battling for playoff position, right? And there's a lot of time left, but it's going to be really fun to watch from over here. Like I think every game there's going to be more and more chocolate, right?
Yeah, for sure. I hope so.
And there's going to be this new chocolate bar that nobody's even heard about, Japp, right?
Yeah. I will actually be amazed if they get a hold of that, but I would love it.
They will. The Shed family is resilient. They'll do it.
Yeah, they're
seriously. I'd put money on it. I bet you it'll be on the ice next, not the next win, maybe the one after. Okay.
The one after. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And shout out to that kid. Thank you for throwing out the Kit Kats with the notes. It's makes the world feel smaller, when we can do this shit. Yeah. Go Storm.
Go Storm.
Sorry, Cardiff. I'm just having fun, right? Cardiff, you're still my team, just having fun with Manchester, okay? Right?
Manchester is our new team.
Anywho, I'm still a devil, always will be. That's just the way it is. But I hope you guys beat every other team you play.
Yeah. I hope we beat them and the devil, so.
Well, seriously though, thank you for making the time for me. We got to slip this in middle of the day, on lunch hour, and thank you for doing that. Because when I see what you're doing, it's weird for me. I'm trying to be a AAA coach around here. I'm waiting to hear if I got the gig or not. But like when I talking around the hockey world and like I see like kids at my son's age, some of them are getting better at a fast rate. Some are getting better on different teams, and you see every kid is like, some kids have stopped getting better, and it's like for you when the research team gets hot is like you're still improving at a drastic rate, and I think you're actually just starting to realize like who you are as a player, and you're starting to let the world know what's up.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone has their personal route, so
right.
I hope just mine keep going upwards.
Yeah, and I sure looks like it is. And then we'll get your brother involved, right? And then sky's the limit, folks.
Yeah, sky's the limit. Get my brother involved for sure.
Exactly. And folks, don't forget to bring your chocolate to the storm shelter, right?
Don't forget.
And your Jopps.
And
this has been another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Ohrvall and Wally.